y'all. It's your girl, Toyia T. And boy, do we have an episode for you today. This episode is called Dating in the Pandemic. And for the singles that didn't necessarily have that much excitement on Valentine's Day, I'm popping my collar because we are prepared to give you all the tidbits on how to date during this pandemic. So next year, we might have a boo. So today we have Leanne Rudd, who's a senior dating specialist from It's Just Lunch. And she's going to come on board with us and tell us a little bit of tips about how to make sure that we're safe, that we're having a good time, and that we're still able to get out and enjoy a good interaction with a nice gentleman or lady during this pandemic. The other guest that we have on the show today is Kole Black. He is an author, singer, songwriter, and the book that he's written is called Sex Therapy, volumes 1, 2, and 3. So I think we need to check this out. If we could bring him on the show and let's get it started. Hello, how are you guys?
Hello.
We're so excited to have you on the show today. So I'll start with Leanne. Leanne Rudd is from It's Just Lunch. Do you want to give us a quick introduction, Leanne?
Yeah, sure. Thank you first and foremost for having me. I'm really excited. This is such a hot topic for so many people right now, especially my clients. So yeah, I've been in this industry about 15 years. One of my very first jobs out of college actually was at a matchmaking company, and here I am all these years later and still in the same industry. So I'm really excited to talk with your base this afternoon or evening, I should say, and just talk more about dating and our new normal. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being with us. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Next, we have Kole Black, who I said is an author, singer, and songwriter. Kole, do you want to do a brief introduction?
Well, yeah. So many people know me. I wear a couple of different hats. I'm a novelist, and I've written several novels. The Chance series, also Cincinnati's Finest, and Christian fiction. So those are the 3 book series, fictional series that I write. And I also write a relationship series called Sex Therapy, A Woman's Guide to Understanding. So,
okay.
And I'm also a musician, and that's my primary call of duty right now is getting.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to want to hear a little bit about the music. We're going to want to hear a little bit about the sex therapy and all of those things in between. So we'll start with a quick question. Everybody wants to know, how has the pandemic changed the dating landscape? And I'll start with you, Leanne, because you're in the business. This is what you're doing. You're seeing clients on a regular basis. What are clients saying? How are they feeling about the pandemic and this dating scene?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a little all over the place because everybody's such a different individual. And I think most importantly, it's really made our clients at least want to just be more proactive in meeting the right person for something more long-term and meaningful. And, instead of letting dating happen to them, they're just being more proactive about it. They're like, okay, so I'm single. I've had all this time on my hands. I'm not out at the gym or meeting my girlfriends or going, doing all the things that keep us really busy, that keep us distracted from being single in some ways. That slowed down, if not stopped. And they're like taking more stock in just what's a priority for them. And that priority is like, who are they going to share their life with? Who do they want to see going through this next stage, whatever it looks like with? And so just making a bigger effort to be more conscious about, how do I get what I want? How am I very purposeful about dating? And then, of course, doing it safely, right? That's a question for a lot of people. But we're busier than ever, I would say that. So.
I would imagine. We just hosted a speed dating event Friday, and we had a really good turnout. People seem to have a good time with it. And I think speed dating is one of those things that allows you to get to know more people quickly
Yep.
and be able to identify, is this someone I want to spend any time with? And like you said, if we're going to be in another pandemic where we're sitting at home, you don't want to be with someone you don't want to be with. Like,
Exactly.
especially like smashed into the house and not able to leave.
And I
So,
think
Cole,
it's so true.
Cole, are you dating, or what can you give about that perspective as far as the pandemic and how it's changed the dating scene?
Well, I'm kind of out of the dating scene
Okay.
personally, but yeah, I've been rescued from the dating scene. So
Yay.
and yeah, so but I do get a lot of um, inquiries, and I get a lot of questions from the ladies that read my books, and through the interactions on social media, and they all come down to the common denominator of, how do I find the right guy, or what am I doing wrong, or how come I keep meeting guys with and fall into relationships that are going nowhere. And pandemic, or error or of normality, all that aside, people are still just people. And everyone, at the end of the day, the bottom line is we all want to be loved and appreciated and respected. Now, we all have certain motives going in, and some people are not as upfront and forthright as they probably should be about their motives. And so I think what the pandemic has done, or this era of isolationism, has sort of almost given, in my opinion, is sort of a good thing, because it's given people sort of more breathing time before they're actually jumping right into something. I think people are taking more time to get to know people on social media, Zoom, and having a phone date, or whatever you call it, a video date, a Zoom date. And I think it's actually giving people more time to get better acquainted on a deeper level than they would if they had just met at the club and went on back to the house and hooked up.
Right. So it's slowing things down a little bit in this microwave generation that we have, right? So that you have to marinate a little bit more. And I always say that music is one of those things that ties people together. So there's an opportunity, right, to share music interests, to share all different things that you may not have had a chance to just learn a little bit more about the person before you go to that next level. I would agree.
Right.
I think that's definitely something that has happened as a result. And
Absolutely.
Is there any advice that you can share with our viewers on ways to improve the dating experience during the pandemic? I mean, we've said that it slowed things down. Are there things that people can do that would, one, Leanne, I think, allow for them to meet more people, something like a speed dating? I don't know what It's Just Lunch is doing in order to make those connections more fluid. What suggestions would you give there in terms of advice on how they can improve the experience?
Yeah, so I think flexibility. You just have to roll with the punches, because what one person's going to be comfortable with, another person's not. That doesn't mean that's not your person. And so that person might want to meet safely at an outdoor restaurant, right, with mask or whatever, social distancing. Another person may be more comfortable meeting via Zoom, and just being flexible and just keeping an open heart and an open mind. I think another big thing is treat any date, whether you're meeting face to face at a restaurant, whether it's outdoors or indoors or whatever is going on in your local area, or if you're meeting via Zoom, you treat every date like a first date. You curl your hair, you put that lipstick on. My background, sorry, I'm a married mom, but if I wasn't, I'd have all the make sure my background was just right. And just really kind of set yourself up for that. Pour a glass of wine and just, whatever it looks like. If you're meeting at home and that's different, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Lean into that. Lean into feeling a little different, because often what I found is things that are really easy, which maybe when we looked a few years ago it was, right, to date and to go out and swipe right or meet someone, or it's harder, it's a little different now. Often really good things come out of challenges. And so keep that in mind, because one thing I have learned as a dating specialist over all of these years is it's really easy to be in a great relationship with someone when it's all easy and hunky-dory. When stuff gets tough, when things are more challenging, is that person there? Are they by your side? Are they there to catch you or walk side by side? And so I think right now is a really good test of people's character and compatibility in so many different ways. So really take advantage of that, and use that in looking for your partner.
Absolutely. You said when the going gets tough, let's see what he does then, right? Because it's really easy to go along and sing Kumbaya when everything's going just right. But when stuff starts to hit the fan, when you don't have a job, when you don't have a car, when things start to fall apart, then what happens? Where is he or where is she then?
Yeah. And so be flexible with all of it too, to go back to your initial question too. I get a little and just being flexible with that, but not too flexible. Like there's some standards that we've got to make sure we're keeping.
Keep your standards. In spite of a pandemic, keep your standards high.
That's right.
Very high.
Paul, anything that you want to add in terms of advice that you would share about the experience? I know that you said that some of the folks that have read your books have comments and have made different comments about the dating scene. Is there any other suggestions that you have given them that you might want to share with the viewers?
Just be patient. And I think we're living in a brand new era. We're seeing things that we never anticipated having to deal with before. New concerns, like you said, new social concerns. People are under different circumstances, under different kinds of stresses, job stresses. A lot of people are unemployed. A lot of people are dealing with sicknesses and deaths in their families. And meanwhile, the world is still turning and you're still meeting new people. So as they come into your world, they're getting an opportunity to see you in trying times, and you're seeing them in, trying volatile times as well. And it's really almost a good thing because, as you said, the tough times shows a person's character and what they're really made of. So this tumultuous period that we're dealing with, we're getting to see the best of each other along with the worst, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I really think I think it's prime time personally, because a lot of the facades have been broken down as well.
Right. Because all the things that we used to lean on, right? When you go out, you can't peacock, as they would call it, anymore. You're not, putting on for the rest of the people that are there. Instead, you're meeting people on a one-on-one and being able to see more of the authentic person.
Absolutely.
And so another question I have, obviously Ohio, like many other states, are experiencing really high COVID levels. We're purple, I think, still, even though we've lifted the curfew. And I was talking to one of my cousins who lives in Atlanta, and she was saying that she and this guy were going to get a COVID test before they went out on a date. And I thought, wow, I never would have thought about doing that. But it made me just ask that question of, are there different things that people should be doing to protect themselves in this new normal? Should we be getting COVID tests before we go out on dates? Is that going too far? Is there And I mean, should they get a vaccine? What's the expectation here in today's world? Leanne, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Well, at the end of the day, it's a very personal decision. It's not a one size fits all. We all have different lifestyles, backgrounds, risk tolerances. And so there's not a really like set answer for that, right? And definitely I would say for our clients that it's just lunch, we encourage them to follow all local health guidelines. I mean, of course, right? Whatever is going on with that, mask, outdoor dining, and if you have any symptoms, stay home, right? Just all the normal things. But when it comes to dating, and if that's what's going to make you feel comfortable to go meet someone that you've met on Zoom and you have a great connection with, and you have that chemistry, and maybe you're taking care of an elderly family member, or maybe you have a immune compromised son or daughter at home, if that's what's going to make that work for you, then go do that. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer at the end of the day. I think it's really, you just have to go with your gut. And I would say, just based on everything that I've done, like when at It's Just Lunch, when our clients are meeting and they're meeting via Zooms, and we've never done anything like that in the history of It's Just Lunch. Like in 30 years, it's always been face to face. So we had to pivot really quickly. But we're setting up these Zoom dates, and it's been such a beautiful thing, because then people get that connection with someone, and then they can make that decision. Okay, I'm willing to make this kind of a risk assessment and take a calculated risk to meet with somebody that now I've had the opportunity to get to know a little bit better. And so if you need a COVID test, if you need to meet at a park and keep 6 feet with masks, or if you're like, throw it all to the wind because you just feel it in your gut and you just need to meet them, I think you just have to kind of make that own decision on your own, and nobody can really tell you how to do that. So
Right, definitely. I think the one point that you made that was really important is, if you have an elderly relative or someone with a compromised immunity, I think that's a big piece of it, because we have to be responsible and make responsible decisions for those people that we're around on a regular basis. I know for me, my grandmother and my father passed away a few years ago, but they would both be absolutely crazy as Betsy bugs in this pandemic. So I'm so grateful that they passed on, and they're probably looking down like, what in the world is going on? But I'm thankful for that, because I know how much more you would have to be, I think, a little bit more mindful if you have someone that you need to protect, that's going to be in your space on a regular. Cole, anything you would add to that question around what some precautions might be?
I mean, again, going back to using common sense as pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, and hopefully after. You always want to err on the side of caution, not just because there's a mysterious virus that's going around killing people in record numbers, but also because getting involved and meeting new people is a touchy area, and it's a sensitive subject, and it's something that people approach with their eyes closed a little too often, and then they deal with the aftermath later, or they ignore the signs and signals. Being just using good judgment, use the sense that God gave. Still keep your feelers out, use your intuition, conversation, follow your vibe. It's the same thing. Now, in addition to, maybe I might ask, so have you been tested? Have you had your COVID test? By chance, along with your other shots and vaccinations that I might need to be concerned about, and tests. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just part of the new conversation, part of the new norm, and I think we'll all adjust.
Right. Well, I think anyone that's going to date me is going to have to adjust. I am not getting the vaccine. I am not a vaccine person at all. Like flu shots, COVID virus, any of the, I just don't get any vaccine. So I plead the blood of Jesus over my body and I drink a lot of tea.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Amen.
I'm a big tea drinker. So let's see if we have any comments from the audience. Do we have any comments from the audience? Let's see. I never know. I don't think we do. If we do, she'll put some up there. So in as we start to come down, I want to have a minute for you to call to just share with us a quick little synopsis of one of your songs, since you have your guitar there. Do you want to?
Okay.
Do you want to give us a little snippet?
So I think, yeah. So in honor of Valentine's Day, I just had a release a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, I just had a release a few days ago, like right around Valentine's. So
We're gonna get serenaded.
Right.
My Valentine, your eyes are brown and your skin is too, swept away by the thought of you. And I'm so caught up in the way I feel. I'm so out of control. Will you be my Valentine? Will you be my Valentine? Baby, I want you to be my lady. I want you to be my girl, my Valentine.
Nice. I
Nice.
love it.
Love that. You know, one of the things I was thinking too, because Kole is a really great author. I was doing some research before coming on, of course, and just looking more at Mr. Black. And a lot of times I get asked the question, what do you do on a Zoom date? Right? Because a lot of people are meeting via Zoom versus face to face. And so I was like, read, talk about a great book that you've read recently, right? Or, if you've been chatting online or chatting, however you've been communicating and you know that you're going to be having more Zoom interactions than face to face, say, okay, let's read this book together. And it could be kind of something in between and maybe a little something steamy, or maybe something, more philosophical or whatever the genre may be that may fit the couple, right? But reading a great book and then having that discussion and having wine and cooking together can be a really great date for people who are either dating across distances because maybe somebody's in New York and somebody's in LA, or just because they can't meet right now because of the pandemic, because of an immune compromised little one or an elderly parent or something. You can still have a lot of fun dating and building those connections and having those human interactions on another level of just your girlfriend or, a coworker, and making it more intimate by kind of bringing in some of those things. So I wanted to share that. And, I think about that often with my clients, and then with you being on here as an author, Kole, I was like, this is like a good opportunity to remind your audience, Toyia, that there's lots of really fun things that you can do to keep the whole dating thing going, if you will, even if it is at a distance. So
absolutely, I love that idea.
I really love the concept that Lori has. That if it's just lunch, I was so fascinated by that when I first heard the marketing promos some years back on public radio. I listened to VXU every day, and I would hear the promos for it. It's just lunch, the premier new dating service sweeping the nation. I mean, it was something so novel. And I thought, like, no one had ever thought of that. That's so simple. Like, people just get together with no expectations. It's just lunch. And that totally, it totally, like, fascinated me. I think I even
totally be a happy hour or a brunch or a Zoom too. And we've actually been around for 29 years, just to kind of put that out there. But okay. But not everybody's heard of us. So no, and it can be, thank you. Yeah, it can be it's low pressure. Go meet someone, have fun. Don't put a lot of pressure on it. And you just never know. I've been doing this 15 years. I have a whole board of success stories, and I call them my It's Just Lunch babies and wedding invitations, and just it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, I'm going off track.
So Leanne, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you look at, so I always say that you can find similarities, right? If you just pay attention to what you hear back from scenarios. Are there any telltale signs that a couple is going to work, or that you've seen that say, oh yeah, this one might really work because this? Anything like that?
That is a great question. And so this is like a really hard question to answer. And the reason being is there's been two people that I've matched and I'm like, this is a stretch. But there was something in my gut. There was like this feeling, and but it's just, this is why I've done this for 15 years. It is just this feeling that you get as a matchmaker. These two people need to take the chance to meet one another. What do they have to lose? Like, really, it's 40 minutes of their day, like they need to meet. And then all of a sudden they have 3 kids and they're like on our website as success stories, and you're like, I wasn't quite sure about that one, but there was something in my gut. And then there's other people that look perfect on paper. No. And so it's not, that's the best. I think it's the best and hardest thing about dating and matchmaking is there's no equation. It's not math. It's like this chemistry thing. And so my best advice to all of your audience would be like, don't be afraid. Just, what do you have to lose? What's the worst thing that could happen? And what's the best thing that could happen? The best thing is you could meet the love of your life. And without trying, the worst thing is nothing happens. So just go for it. Just go for it.
Well, Leanne, give us your website. We got 1 minute.
Yep. Oh, it's justlunch.com.
All right. We're going up on the screen.
And I would love to speak to anybody who wants more info. Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show, Leanne. We appreciate it. Cole, do you want to give your website or your information on social?
Yeah, check me out. I'm on all platforms. Kole Black Music. That's KOLE BLACK Music. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Kole Black Music. Come check me out. Let me sing you a love song.
And make sure you check out Sex Therapy Volumes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah, if you're ready. You gotta be ready though.
All right, you guys have a good one. We'll go ahead and pay our sponsors.
Today's episode of The Plug is sponsored by the following companies. Give Me Face, one of the best photographers in the business. If you want some dope pictures, hit him up on IG at givemeface_, and check out his website at givemefaceco.com. Privileged Lounge, where the city comes to celebrate, turn up, or chill. Follow them on Instagram at privilegedcincy, PRVLGDCINCY. Donnie Young, an ADT authorized provider, supplying you with all your security needs for your business and beyond. For more details, call Donnie at 513-623-0679. Good People. Good People provides talent solutions and services to organizations who desire to be more deliberate about their diversity initiatives. For more details, email them at Corey, Corey, at goodpeople.careers. No Time, Use Mine Senior Sitting Service provides individualized house cleaning, sitting, respite, companion services, well-being checks, social enrichment for seniors and their families, and a love ship, connecting family and friends, bringing us together again. Call 513-537-2354 and follow No Time Use Mine Senior Sitting Service on Facebook. The APR Investment Group is currently looking for homes to purchase. They are also offering opportunities for others to invest with them and learn as they go and as they grow. For more information, contact them at info@30dayflipbrothers.com or 513-712-9007. A Touch of Tone Mobile Detailing. Complete automotive detailing service, both interior and exterior. You got them, we wipe them. We come to you. Call them at 513-293-9262 or find them on Instagram at A Touch of Tone Mobile Detailing. If you're looking for an instant beauty enhancement, get lashed by Tiff. Lashes come in different styles, apply in just minutes, and don't damage your natural lashes. Most of all, they're vegan, hypoallergenic, no glue, and no mess. Contact Tiffany Hardy for all of your beauty and lash needs at 513-442-6098. Becoming to Being is committed to helping women emotionally heal from past relationships so they can walk in purpose, walk in their power, and build healthy relationships. For more information about their coaching program, contact them at becoming2being, BEING, @gmail.com. Again, that's becoming2being @gmail.com. And last but certainly not least, La Femme Noir Artistry, a unique art designed for the individuals who want originality. Let La Femme Noir Artistry adorn the space in your home. For more information, you can follow them on Instagram at La Femme Noir Art or call 513-835-9313. The Plug thanks all of our sponsors for helping us keep you connected.